the homecoming of the Jews, King Cyrus sent a proclamation throughout all the land. The people gathered to hear this message. These are the words they heard. The Lord God of heaven has given me all the kingdom of the earth. Now he has ordered me to build him a temple at Jerusalem. Who are they among his people? The Jews who will return to Jerusalem and build this house for God. How happy and excited the Jews were when they heard this. At last they could return to their homeland. How proud they would be to have rebuilt the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. More than 40,000 Jews began to prepare for the trip at once. On the appointed day, the great company gathered in the valley along the Euphrates River. Euphrates River. There are grandmothers and grandfathers, mothers and fathers, young people and children. Most of the people carried boulders and baggage for their long journey. These Jews were all ready to start back to the land of their fathers. Zerubbabel, a brave young man from the family of David, was made leader of the returning Jews when they reached Jerusalem. Zerubbabel was to rule the Jews and as a prince and under the commandment of King Cyrus. Not all the Jews wanted to return to Jerusalem. Many had become so rich and prosperous that they did not care to go back. Instead, they sent precious gifts to help in building the temple. How glad they were that many of their own people were returning to build the temple of the Lord. Then he was too old to make a long journey back to Jerusalem. Perhaps, too, King Cyrus left that he could not get alone without Daniel. The last goodbyes well said. And the long journey began. The people moved slowly on the highway that a few of them had traveled in 70 years before. This time they were happy, for they were no longer captives in the foreign land. Many cattle, many wagons, and some rode on horses, and others on camels or donkeys. As they moved on, they sang songs of joy. In their hands were beautiful harps. How eager they were to play sweet music in the house of the Lord. Cyrus had sent with them all the gold and silver vessels Nebuchadnezzar had stolen from the temple. These vessels were be used in a new temple. In the new temple. Nor was this the only gold and silver the returning Jews carried. Cyrus has commanded their neighbors and friends to give them money and rich gifts. The Jews has come to Babylon empty-handed captives. Now on their return, they were laden with riches. As the journey neared its end, the people saw the climbing walls of Jerusalem. Those who remembered how the city looked before Nebuchadnezzar destroyed it were very sad. Most of these pilgrims had never seen Jerusalem, for they had been born in the land of captivity. All were glad to come back and build their homes in the land of the Conqueror had taken away from them. Historians of Jerusalem, the people found the place when the temple of the Lord had stood. They found the rock when the altar had been. Here the princes and the Levites cleared away the rubbish and together get stones for a new altar. From the very first, they offered the sacrifice to God each morning and evening, just as they had been commanded in the law of Moses.